Hello there. I don't know if anyone is out here today, but I'm going to be streaming today the Friday High Day recognition that I do for Thoughty at breebo.com/Thoughty. And kind of opened up with one of my last pages there because I still haven't learned how to use OBS properly. I had my my stuff set up so that I could actually see Twitch on OBS while I was using it, but it decided to stop working. So I'm currently bringing that up over on my actual channel so I can see what you say in the comments, because that's half the point. So if you stop by, please say hello in the chat. I can see it, and I'm always happy to see somebody here. So the first thing I'm going to do is note that I realize I missed 2 weeks of streams, and I apologize for that. I haven't been doing so well health-wise, and whenever there were no submissions, I didn't want to kind of burn myself out streaming when there wasn't a lot of activity. I'm going to try to be on a schedule. This may move to like every other week after we move into like the end of the year, because I'm hoping by then I'll have like an actual job. But to get us started, we're gonna talk about some recognition that we received. I say we because you're a part of this too, especially if you support me on my Patreon. So Friday High Day is all about recognizing people for things big and small, no matter what they happen to be. And we got a recognition from Nonymous for Wade Rockett, who has had a birthday on a little bit earlier this month, last week, and is being recognized for keeping ahead of potential troubles in the 13th Age community over the last couple of weeks. As someone who has been part of gaming communities for quite a few years now, I know that there are so many things to juggle, so definite respect to Wade for keeping that going, and thank you to Anonymous. I really appreciate you sending in a recognition. And you can find Wade on Twitter at Wade Rockett. It's WadeRockett. And next we have Megan on, who I know on Twitter actually. We had a submission from Liz to recognize Megan for editing their spooky haunted house game. And for being brave and bold to reach out to find readers. It's very hard to put your game out there and reach out for people to pay attention. So Liz and myself are both proud of Megan for taking that risk, and we'd like everyone to know about the game and get involved in the early stages of reading and playtesting. So if you want to hear about a spooky haunted house game, you can check out Megan. They are on Twitter at Aardvark Wizard, so AARDVARK Wizard, and they tweeted a thread about the game and some details, so you should definitely check it out. And congratulations and good work again to Megan for getting something like this going, for doing the work and getting it out the door. And hopefully it will have a lot of success. Next up, I just have the kind of what's going on Thoughty right now sort of stuff. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've posted and one of my own releases. And so one of the most recent articles that went up is 5 or so questions on Red Carnations on a Black Grave, which is a freeform RPG by Catherine Ramen about the Paris Commune, a brief but intense socialist revolution in 1871. And they said, for 10 weeks, radicals, socialists, and the working class controlled the greatest capital in Europe, until the French army arrived and brutally put down the rebellion. The game explores the lives of 12 characters caught up in this intense moment in history, exploring their personal lives and their relationships against a backdrop of doomed resistance. Themes of resistance are really popular right now. They should be. And so I'm always happy to see them. And I'd really love to see these kinds of games looked at by people and, and examined, because I think resistance is a really important theme. And you can check that out on Thoughty, which is at brebo.com/Thoughty. And this is the most recent post. It ends in 5 days. Next, we had quick shots on Hearts of Magic, which was I think it's ending in about 30 hours, so 31, 32 hours maybe. And this is a Firebrand's framework game about Fey nobles, anarchist bureaucrats, and anarchist witches vying for control of a mage-punk fantasy city, getting in messy entanglements and with each other, and all of this amid an undeclared magical war. It's a story told against a backdrop of imperialism and class struggle, but it's also a story about individuals finding ways to resist that system and just maybe finding each other instead. And this is by, I'm going to mess up Erica's name even though I typed it in here. Erica Shepard. Erica Shepard is the creator of Hearts of Magic Threads Entangled, which has just spare moments on Kickstarter remaining, so please do check it out. The next thing in the timeline is that Turn is out. So Turn is the RPG that I've been working on for about 6 years now, and it's very important to me. It is a RPG that explores the lives of shapeshifters in small towns. It's a slice of lifestyle supernatural RPG focused on rural small towns. And it uses a really unique town building system as the start of the game that you use to inform your characters. And your characters have a human character sheet and a beast character sheet, and those can change as you play. And that's basically, it allows for a lot of personal exploration of the character and their identity. And it's a long play game. It does have a one-shot option available, but the basic the basic game itself is meant to be played for a longer campaign. And you can find it at brebo.itch.io. So that's BRIEBEAU.itch.io. And it's just /turn. So it's very easy to find. And it is available in PDF for now, and hopefully will be available for some remaining print copies at the end of the month or into August. And then we had 5 or so questions on Sleepaway with Jay Dragon, which was a really fun interview. Sleepaway is a belonging outside belonging game about a group of summer camp counselors protecting their children from a nightmarish monster. And a belonging outside belonging is based on the Dream Askew, Dream Apart system that was released by Benjamin Rosenbaum and Avery Elder. There's an article in the archives of Thoughty with those two people who are brilliant designers and definitely worth listening to their thoughts. But Sleepaway actually was really successful. It had over $14,000 on Kickstarter, so congratulations to Jay Dragon. That's amazing. And I hope that whenever Sleepaway is available on itch.io or IPR or drive-thru or wherever it happens to be, it becomes even more successful. And the last one I just wanted to mention was the interview I did with Nicholas Kitts on Children of the Beast, which is a little bit of a diversion from our norm on Thoughty. Children of the Beast is basically It's a RPG that has an assisted app to help play it. And it's a tabletop monster hunting RPG where you evolve your character by consuming the creatures you kill. And so it's a really interesting take on hunting monsters and how that transforms you as a person. And in the interview, I had asked Nicholas how they handled, like, when people didn't like the content or anything, and he said they didn't really know and they just kind of moved past it. But then I actually talked to him a little bit further beyond that, like the context of the interview, and explained kind of my perspective on what you should do whenever people are uncomfortable with content in games, such as like gory content or anything. And at this point, I think that Nicholas is actually exploring, after they're finished with the project set up right now, getting it out the door. They're going to add in some alternate storylines and stuff like that if they can make it work. And options to avoid some of the content that some people might be overwhelmed by, like gore or upsetting themes. And I really appreciated that Nicholas was so willing to talk to me about that, even as just an interviewer. So I wanted to especially recognize, even though we didn't know each other from Adam, like we met through Thoughty, and I really appreciated that Nicholas and his team were willing to take on, my thoughts and try and think of a better way to approach difficult content in their game. So I thought that was really cool. I love to see people who are willing to grow and change. And I think that it allows for the possibility that the game will continue to grow and be an amazing project of itself. So again, that's Children of the Beast, which was from June, and it reached over 27K on Kickstarter. So congratulations to Nicholas and his team. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat and also click between Twitter threads and stuff. I apologize. But that's all I have for the moment. I wanted to open it up for a minute to the chat in case anyone who's in there would like to say something. Anything that they thought of that they'd like to raise recognition for. And I normally give a minute for that. I really appreciate anyone who stops by and watches the stream. I know it's kind of brief, but it really, for me, is just a matter of getting this out so that people can listen to the recording and hear their names said and hear some recognition for their hard work. It's not easy to be in an industry that is so... It's so fickle here in tabletop games. And, like, that's been one of the hardest things I've had to struggle with as a designer. So I really want to make sure that, designers, players, GMs, pretty much anyone who is in games, if they do something that's worth recognizing, even if it seems small, please feel free to submit to the Friday High Day recognition. I will update the link at the end of the month with the one for, like, August and September. But right now, it is at tinyurl.com, and it's Friday High Day. That's HIDAY 060719. And that's basically the place that you can hop on and put in a submission, as many as you'd like, for over the time period for people who have done things that you think are great. And you just make sure you get permission to share their name, because some people don't like to be publicly recognized, and that's okay. But if they do prefer to be, they would like the recognition, just make sure, just say, hey, is it okay if I, submit your name for recognition for this? And I think that it's a really good way to just be like, you did something awesome, and it's worth recognizing when people do something awesome. Whether that's playing a really good scene in a game, or starting a new game, or if it's someone who has released a Kickstarter, or maybe just they've put something up on their itch.io. It's an opportunity to really, like, think of all of the things that people do well that we appreciate and make them concrete in some way that we can pass on and share with others. And that person's especially if they're lonely, can benefit from having someone on the other end say, hey, you did a really good job, and say it out loud. Because saying it out loud, that matters. So I'm going to do one last one through over the next few minutes. I'm just going to reread the recognitions since we have had a few people pop on, and I'd like to do a rundown for the end of the day. This is me giving recognition to myself. It says Mr. Fantastic. I'm a super nerd. With my coffee mug. So, the first recognition that we got this week is from Nonymous to celebrate Wade Rockett's birthday from last week, and also to congratulate Wade with good work for keeping ahead of potential troubles in the 13th age community over the last couple of weeks. And I think that that's an awesome thing to be recognized for. I think we need to sometimes recognize people who manage communities more than we do. So thank you, Wade, for that. Good work. And Megan, good work for editing your spooky haunted house game, and for being brave and bold to reach out to find readers. Like I said earlier, I know Megan and Liz submitted this, and I agree. We are both so proud of you for taking that risk. And I want people to know about the game. We both want you to check it out and get involved with the reading and playtesting of the game early on. So consider checking out Aardvark Wizard on Twitter to check out the Spooky Haunted House game. And then again, Red Carnations on a Black Grave ends in 5 days, and definitely worth checking out on Kickstarter. And then you will hopefully see it eventually being published and ready for everyone to grab a copy. And this is a game about the Paris Commune, and is definitely an interesting historical thing. I think it's really interesting and kind of a tough thing to write about, so I'm impressed to see the work being done. And then Hearts of Magic, which is a Firebrand's framework game by Erica Shepard. And it's got a lot of anarchist stuff and an undeclared magical war in this big mage punk fantasy city. I think that it's got a lot of interesting relation dynamics that is worth checking out. And that ends in less than 32 hours, I think, at this point. So definitely check it out on Kickstarter today. Turn is out again. And if you want to check that out at brebo.itch.io/turn, that is where I have it up for the moment. It will also eventually be up on drive-thru. We're just pending approvals. And then eventually on IPR whenever we have the print copies ready. And it's been released to backers on Kickstarter, which is awesome. And they only found like 2 errors in the whole book so far, so I was pretty happy about that. And then a reminder and congratulations of Sleepaway, which was by Jay Dragon, reaching over 14K on Kickstarter, which we interviewed about a month ago. And 5 or so questions on Children of the Beast was in the middle of June of last month. And it reached over 27K, which is great. On Kickstarter for a game with an innovative mechanic of the app, I think that's pretty amazing. So thank you so much to anyone who has stopped by. I love hearing from everyone about like what excites them in games and what they're happy for and what they see other people do that they love. And I think encouraging positive behaviors is a good way to start making our community better. So please share this whenever it is a YouTube video, which will probably be by the end of the day. And definitely submit to the tinyurl.com Friday Hade link that I will have on the website for Thoughty, as well as on the video that I post on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by. I actually think this is like the most people I've ever had on here before. Thank you so much for stopping by, Ash. I'm really glad to have you. And I'm glad that I did the recap. Cause I I I try to like run over things a couple of times if I can. Um, thank you so much. Big hearts to everybody who stopped by and everyone who submitted. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Anonymous. And I hope to hear from you all again next week. And if we do not have submissions and have to push forward, that just means a bigger bump the next time we have one. Thank you so much for being here. And have a really happy Friday.